500-139. State's counsel and defense counsel are present. Ms. Richins is present. Mr. Bloodworth, would you like me just to tell the jury when they come back in that the state has rested?
Yeah, so that's fine.
Okay, will do. Ms. Lewis, Ms. Nestor, what's the plan?
Ready to go.
Who's defense counsel's first witness?
Can we have just a minute?
Yeah.
We have a couple of options.
Understood.
Your Honor, actually, at this time, the defense intends to rest.
We should probably do that in front of the jury, yes?
Right?
Okay.
I agree.
I just want to make sure you've consulted with your client about this.
Absolutely.
Is now an appropriate time to get a waiver of Ms. Richins' right to testify on the record?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay. You've consulted with Ms. Richins about her, or advised Ms. Richins about her right to testify, correct?
At length.
Okay. Ms. Richins, may I ask you 2 direct questions?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to testify at trial?
Yes, I do.
Are you following your attorney's advice and waiving your right to testify at trial?
Yes, I am.
I accept your waiver. I find it's knowing and voluntary.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Anything further on the record, Ms. Lewis?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Bloodworth, how would you propose we proceed from here for the rest of today?
Welcome back to Justice 4 Trial Recap Edition. We're your hosts. I'm Jackie.
I'm Sam. I'm here this week.
She is here this week. I'm really glad to have her back. It was kind of weird talking to myself, not gonna lie.
She kept like texting me and was like, "Does this look okay? Does this look okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, studio look fine."
It's easy to put 2 of us on this big couch. Try to put 1 of us on this couch. So sorry to start off with a spoiler, but there was absolutely no other way to start this episode. We had a shocking week 3 of trial. But before we get into all of that, we have an announcement to make. We have another live show coming your way, Colorado Springs.
I mean, we've been telling you guys that it's been in the works, but guess what? It's actually happening.
Yes. April 16th at 6 p.m., we will be taking over Voodoo Brewing off Garden of the Gods. The show will start at 6 p.m., so get there a little bit before to grab your seat, grab a drink. We do have a limited amount of reserved seats up front with a special gift. Those are $20 on our website, justice4podcast.com. And tickets aren't required to attend. You can just show up. It is open to the public. We're not shutting the place down.
Correct.
So, but that just makes sure you don't have to worry about getting a seat.
Yeah. I actually helped open Voodoo when it first came to town, so I wouldn't be endorsing a place that I didn't absolutely love and adore. So
And it's amazing.
It is. Their drinks are amazing. The food is phenomenal, and the people that work there are even better. So come hang out with us and treat the staff amazing.
I have 4 words for you: green, chili, Gouda, fries.
Deadass. There's.
And also, we do know that there is some teens who've been wanting to come to our show since Painting with a Twist was an 18 and up event. We are 13 and up this time, so super excited for some of those younger listeners who do listen to us.
I mean, obviously, we can't control. We're not going to ID.
No, we're not.
Just be prepared that we are. You know who we are.
Yeah, you know who we are.
We do. We cuss. I'm not going to apologize for that because that's just who we are. And we talk about murder.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be straight up with you. We talk about some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So, just, if you're going to bring your kids, just
be aware.
Be prepared.
All right. So, are you ready to get into week 3 of trial?
So I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't actually watch trial. Except
she watched like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Because I've been waiting for this.
It's like the most important 5 minutes. But yeah, she likes my recaps better. And then you read all my mini recaps throughout the week, right?
I do. Yeah, I don't just not like, what? Wait for this. No. I do read the recaps. I actually have been trying to comment on some and things like that and just be part of it. So I'm aware of what's happening.
Just not
she knows
this
more.
aware.
She knows more.
All right.
But the thing I did watch, I do have a reaction video for what I found out.
Yes. Mine got spoiled a little bit, but we'll get into it. So, in a shocking turn of events, the defense rested its case without calling a single witness. Kouri also made the decision to not testify, which was interesting because there was definitely a lot of alluding to her testifying in the first few days of this week. Like, the first time they said something, I was like, wait a minute, do I understand what they just said? Are we talking about her testifying? Kouri also made the decision to not testify, which I know you're not shocked, but there were
I'm
multiple.
kind of shocked actually, but I'm just like more like, what a fucking.
Well, I'm more shocked because there were comments in this week of trial alluding to her testifying.
Yeah.
And so I really thought we were getting her. But we didn't.
I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised that that they are not like, we should put her on the stand. Because I personally think these defense attorneys are fucking idiots. I'm not, I hope you're offended.
I don't. I mean, they shouldn't be offended. It's a true statement.
Yeah. But like, I feel like they are dumb enough to put her on the stand. But then again, I also know that the cross-examination would be wild.
Absolutely wild. I would expect the prosecution to stoop to the defense's level in Carmen's
Yeah.
testimony. So let's go ahead and just start with Monday, which was day 10 at trial. And we started with Kouri Wright, who was Eric Richins' business partner and a really close friend of his. The state started his testimony by playing a video from a gathering on March 5th, so the day after Eric died. And they showed Kouri having a gathering at the house. Everyone was drinking and laughing, and they were asking him who's in the video. He's not in the video.
Okay.
They also showed a picture from this night during his wife's testimony, Allison, and she just named the people in the video. Bryce is one of those people. We will talk about that. I also have a picture of that as well that we'll put up here. It was just very interesting because we talked about that video and they just brought it in to show the party. But Amy was also there, Eric's sister. So that's very confusing in all of this. I don't know. We knew she was there, but I don't know what we were getting at with all of that.
Yeah.
Also, spoiler alert, Amy never testifies. And I cannot figure why Amy never gets on the stand or does anything, but she didn't.
Well, his other sister did, though.
Yeah.
But I'm just...
You will understand when I get to Detective Woody why I'm so confused about Amy never testifying. So, Jamie Woody, we love her. You're going to love her.
I can't wait.
They also asked him about a phone call that he received from Eric on Valentine's Day, where Eric was sounding really serious and urgent about something that happened. But they didn't actually talk about the poisoning or the sandwich or any of that on the call. Or what was in it.
What was the call for?
Just to show that Eric was panicking that day. I don't know.
Maybe because his wife was off fucking someone else.
The defense tried pushing into the finances and how much Eric and Cody made, but they weren't allowed to get very far because there was no reason for it. There wasn't relevance. So they switched their focus to Eric's hunting infractions that actually gave him some jail time, if you remember that from our first episode, and how they tried to make it seem like Cody turned him in for this, and that Cody was the reason that he did all this. No, Fish and Game came to Cody, and Cody told the truth, which Eric encouraged him to do because Eric admitted to fucking up. It was all about a tag.
Yeah.
There was the wrong tags. It wasn't anything crazy. But the defense tried to make it out like Cody was the one who turned him in, and so their relationship deteriorated after that, and there was no more family vacations, and they didn't hang out anymore, and it caused such a rift.
All because of the deer tag.
Yeah. And Cody was like, no, we were fine.
Mm-hmm.
They then grilled him about Eric's trucks, his personal work truck belonging to C&E Masonry.
Okay.
Because you know how it's a tax write-off if you buy your personal vehicle underneath the company and then the gas and everything else is underneath that?
I'm well aware.
It's really smart.
Mm-hmm.
So the work truck was taken a few days after Eric died. All right. But Kouri was driving his personal truck. And when she took it into the dealership for maintenance, Cody took the opportunity to pick it up from the dealership and take it from Kouri since it was C&E Masonry property. And it wasn't responsible as a company to have somebody who wasn't insured through the company driving that truck.
He's not wrong. That shit's... I
love
do
a
this
petty
on a daily.
I know, but I love a petty Betty. And his face while he's talking about this, I was like, oh, you were just being petty as fuck, boy.
I love it.
It was great. So then Kathy and Esther questioned him about Becky Lloyd. You remember talking about her, the C&E employee?
Mm-hmm.
About taking Eric's computer from the house days after he died. But we never talked to Becky about that. So the judge kind of got on him for bringing something up with Cody that they should have brought in during Becky, and they didn't get very far with any of that, but basically they were showing the jury that Eric's laptop, his work laptop, was with Becky, then it was with the private investigator, then it was with the sheriff. I don't know. Probably because they didn't want her to shut it down and they knew that they like to introduce
Prosecution?
no, the defense really likes to introduce evidence through the wrong witnesses and then complain about how it should be let in. We're going to get into that here in a little bit. Then Kathy proceeded to ask Cody a million questions regarding his knowledge of Eric's prescription drug abuse in high school, his use of THC gummies, and Kathy confused herself, the judge, the prosecution, and probably the jury during this line of questioning. She could not keep straight the terms illicit drugs, prescription drugs, and red devils. Red devils is something the kids called a pill in high school and that they would take. So, like, you know how high school's whatever. And Cody, being the innocent little kid he is, like, he has learned about all this since high school, and like he knew about red devils. He thought it was Sudafed in high school.
That's what my mind thinks it is.
And the defense was like, "You mean like pseudoephedrine or something like that, or Sudafed, something like a different one, a different one from pseudoephedrine. What's the other one? Something." And he was like, "Yeah, that's just what I thought it was." And they were just trying to trip him up so they could impeach him, just like they did with Carmen and Robbie. So they were trying to get him to say the wrong things by confusing illicit drugs, street drug, or prescription drugs, all of that, and red devils. And they caused so much confusion that the judge had to dismiss Cody and the jury to discuss how all this questioning was going to go. And the arguing that Kathy does in this with the judge. I'm just going to play the clip of it because you guys just have to hear. You just have to hear this. I can't describe it any other way.
Illicit drugs of any kind. This is hearsay. It is speculation. It's not admissible.
Your Honor, may I just make a record?
Of course.
Your Honor, it's our position that, first of all, when I asked the question, it was not objected to by the state. Second of all, I'd like to make the record that this would be for purposes of impeachment. To deny us this opportunity is a violation of Crawford. It is a violation of our Sixth Amendment right to cross-examine. It is a violation of our due process right to a fair trial. We would be able to call, in our case, an expert who would testify that red devils were in fact PCP. In that period of time, they were not Sudafed. The DEA has a pamphlet on that. We're being denied that option. We're being denied the ability to attack the credibility of someone who has changed. Respectfully, we disagree with Your Honor's position on this. We think he absolutely changed his testimony, and we're being prohibited the right to impeach him on the fact he changed his testimony. And I believe that the question I would ask him, if I were allowed to go forward, would be, did you learn that Eric popped pills in high school? And that would impeach what he said to Mr. Bloodworth, unrebutted and not allowed to be rebutted by me when we know that I can rebut it. And we, on our strongest way possible, we object to this. We would like a continuing objection. We move to strike all of Cody Wright's testimony. All of the issues that Mr.
Whoa. You lost me there.
On redirect. The redirect testimony.
Which piece?
Where he answered the question that I'm not now being allowed to impeach him on. We're asking to strike it at the very minimum. All of the things that Mr. Bloodworth just brought up all go to weight, not admissibility. And
what is the non-hearsay route for this witness to testify regarding what he heard, if it's coming in for the truth of the matter asserted?
It's not. It's coming in to impeach that once the court allowed him to answer that question with hearsay, to rebut the hearsay that we elicited unintentionally.
What's the evidence that he heard prior to today, testifying today, that Eric Richins used illicit street drugs?
He just testified to it on the stand.
That is not true.
Okay, well, we agree to disagree on that, Your Honor.
Have you disclosed that expert that would provide a non-speculative basis that red devils are an illicit street drug?
We have disclosed that expert. His name is Mr. Kearney. He is on our list. He's been available. We did not know the red devil stuff was coming in until 10 minutes ago because we were told.
It's not coming in.
Well, okay. Well, that's That's obvious then. I mean, we did the best we could. We gave him our drug expert that as soon as the Red Devils comes in, we can let them talk to him about that, because we sure would go into that with our expert, that we're now being denied the ability to do that. There is a key question here, Your Honor. If Eric Richins had a drug problem, and if he did, Ms. Richins is innocent, and we are being prohibited from going into that with the one person who knows. And I just think that the veracity of this witness on this topic cannot be underestimated for purposes of the defense. I know you disagree with us. I believe I've made my record. Yes. He's changed his story. He's now saying he's never heard that Eric used drugs when he knows in the prelim that he did. And I just think this is just a huge, huge impediment to us to put on a fair trial in this case. And I believe I've made my record. I can't think of anything else I need to say on the record. Thank you for letting me make a proffer.
Okay. Are you asking me to strike Mr. Wright's answer that he's never heard that Eric used illicit street drugs?
Yes.
On which basis? On what basis?
On the fact I'm not allowed to impeach him on it, and we all know it's not a correct answer.
You certainly can impeach him on it if you have any evidence that it's impeachable.
No, any other way to show it to the court other than what we've already done.
Okay. I want to be clear. There's just no evidence that Kouri Wright believes that Red Devils are illicit street drugs.
But he separated the Red Devils from the popping pills. He separated that.
No, with
did.
respect, he didn't.
Okay,
But okay.
well, I think the transcript will reflect it.
All right.
With this, Kathy and Wendy just don't listen. They just keep saying what they want to say over and over until the judge either gets hella stern with them or just drops it.
Mm-hmm.
And they like to talk over everyone. Witnesses, the judge, all the time. I've never seen this ever.
No.
This man has the patience of a saint. I'm sorry that clip was so long. I tried to figure out ways to clip it.
No.
I really did, but you can't. Like, you need all of it, and just the facial expressions, the discussions, like, I need you to know this has been 3 weeks of this. This is not just like, oh, one explosive moment. There were so many of these.
I also don't understand why she's sitting here talking and she's looking to Kouri for answers. That's who you're defending. Why are you looking to her for answers? Hello?
Yeah. I don't know. So that was
Could you imagine having to like argue with a judge like that? He's like, what evidence do you have? He just said it. No, he didn't. Yeah, he did.
I like how she saw, I don't know any other way to say that question. And generally, this is where the judge would give them another way to say this question because he has literally told them how to do this case the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next up, we had Matthew Throckmorton, and he is a forensic document examiner. I am not going to lie to you. I sped through his testimony because, well, the first 20 minutes of it was his accreditations, and all the juicy stuff happened with the defense. I actually sped through this and came back to it because I needed to get through trial. Honestly, his entire point of his testimony was to prove that the signature on the application was forged. And he did. His conclusion was that Eric's signature was forged on the insurance document, but he couldn't tell who did it, but he knew it wasn't Eric who signed it.
Period.
So generally how they can check against other people's handwriting is that everybody has a tell in their own handwriting that will come through in a forgery. But none of Kouri's tells were in it, and there weren't really any other tells of anybody around that they compared with. So they couldn't say it was Kouri, but they could definitely say it wasn't Eric.
Interesting.
And, of course, the defense tried to undermine him by attacking the reliability of handwriting analysis in general and basically calling it fake science and bringing up that the industry as a whole has been attacked for its legitimacy in the past few years.
Dennis, and they say this is a fake.
They didn't say fake science, but that's basically what they were saying, too, that, like, basically, like, it's not solid and, like, it's about... It's very, what's the word for it? Like, perceptive. Like it's at somebody's own discretion, how they do everything. And when that didn't work, and he just kept disproving them in it, They brought up an internal investigation that he was involved in, where another officer in his department accused him of falsifying documents. He actually got cleared of all that wrongdoing, and in the same breath, like he was like, I got cleared of all that wrongdoing, and that officer actually got in trouble for it. And by the way, I have 4,000 hours plus training in document examination. Like, he answered the whole thing together and was like, no, yes. So, he was on the stand for a while, but like, they had to go through so much credentials and how it works and how they get to this conclusion and how it works and all of that. And I understand that.
I get it.
But this is also isn't the first trial that I've had a handwriting expert in.
Yeah.
So I've listened to it before.
Yeah.
Next up we had Jamie Woody, and she was the initial lead detective for the case. So she showed up that day, like initially on the day of Eric's death. And she was the lead detective on the case until she was given the opportunity to become a canine officer, something she always wanted to do. So when the opportunity arose for her to get her dog, she took it.
I
So
understand.
that is the only reason that she left. I knew that's why I said that you're gonna love her.
I understand completely.
Also, Jamie is like all business. She is like not playing games. She will not play around, and she is like answering like straight and knows what she's doing, right?
Bro, if you become a canine officer, something like changes in you.
Yeah. But I have a feeling she was like this before.
No, she's just a boss bitch.
Yeah.
Period.
So since she was the responding detective on the morning of Eric's death,
Mm-hmm.
she had a lot of interactions with family members, including Eric's sister Amy.
Mm-hmm.
And something odd happened. So while talking about her interaction with Amy, they asked the jury to leave, and they did some test questioning with Jamie without the jury to see where the prosecution was going with this.
Mr.
I'll
Blunt,
just ask the question.
yeah, ask your next series of questions. Let's see where we go.
When Amy met you in the driveway, did she say anything that informed your investigation?
Yes.
What did she say?
She told me that Eric had said to her that he thought Kouri was going to kill him.
So yeah, you heard that, right? When she arrived at the home that morning, Eric's sister Amy stopped her at the bottom of the driveway and said that Eric told her that Kouri had been trying to kill him. So why didn't we get Amy on the stand?
I agree.
But also, we've had so much in here that wasn't allowed in because it was hearsay. I don't know how, like, well, obviously this is why we didn't have the jury in the room, because it was a whole hearsay thing. But I don't know why we didn't call Amy to the stand for this. This is why I didn't understand.
I wonder if because they continuously kept doing hearsay, because technically no one else heard this.
That
There's
well,
no-
The only other people are his family. But yeah, they can't testify to it because it is hearsay
Yeah.
without it being on a recording.
And there's no like writing of it, things like that. I think that's probably why. Because her entire testimony may have just been obsolete because there's no like hard proof, like evidentiary proof of
Yeah.
it. And that could be why. Like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
impactful, it's strong, but
And they were really moving to get this in because it changed how it obviously had an effect on how Detective Woody went in the house and then looked at the whole situation.
absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So,
Which, thank God.
Yeah.
But at the same time.
we also got some testimony about the trash cans in the bedroom, the master bath, and the kitchen that were empty.
Oh.
So remember how in Chelsea Gibson, she said that, no, they didn't check any of that. And the defense was like, well, why didn't you check that, blah, blah.
Mhm.
Well, Detective Woody actually looked in all of them, and they were empty. And when she asked Kouri about it,
Did we know about this before? Did you tell me about this?
no. So the trash cans were empty. Well, we knew that there was nothing found in the trash.
Yeah.
But
no,
they were
because
empty.
they were empty. Okay.
And Kouri said that her housekeeper had emptied them, but she couldn't remember the housekeeper's name.
Right, that makes sense.
Turns out that they did actually track down the housekeeper, and she did actually.
Well, son of a bitch.
Yeah, there was a housekeeper, but we didn't really like to find like when she took the trash out. I don't think so. There's a whole thing like I don't even remember the Norma or something. But anyway, there actually was one. It was in there.
Interesting.
All right, we had Todd Gabler next. He is the private investigator And this man,
Hold on, I'm still kind of stuck on this trash thing really quick.
what?
When did the housekeeper come?
We did not get into that on the stand.
Okay, because for me,
I would have to
personally-
say it was the day before, like obviously the day before is what she was saying, was the housekeeper came, since this was in the middle of the night. So, unless the housekeeper was there before they went to bed, we should have had some trash from dinner or other
That's
things.
what I'm saying. Like, that's weird to me.
Yeah.
That's weird to me.
It is
I
weird.
take out the trash, and guess what? I'm about to have to take out the trash again because I keep finding more trash to throw in the trash.
Yeah.
And you
have
there's
3
two
kids
people.
in the house.
Yeah.
And you
2
ate dinner.
adults. How does that make sense?
Just saying. Okay.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go continue on with the next
No,
guy.
you're fine. I just wanted to clarify the trash things.
That's fair. I just needed to clarify that that's fucking weird.
Yeah. So Todd Gabler was the private investigator.
Yeah.
And he was hired by Eric's family and testified that his investigation was focused on finding the truth about Eric's death.
Okay.
And he made it clear on the stand that he told Eric's family whether Eric did this, somebody else did this, no matter what the outcome was, they had to accept it,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what it was. He was there to find the truth, not to find anybody's agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And he was all business on the stand. He wasn't playing the defense's game, and everybody was 50-50 about him in Court TV's comments. Some loved him and thought he was amazing, and others thought he was snippy and not a good look for the state. I almost said snake.
So I mean, sometimes there's people who just like aren't into like conformity, and they just just tell me.
He literally at one point said, "I don't need to be babysat by cops."
Period.
To the defense. It was great. Some key points from his testimony.
Okay.
He spent 936 hours on the investigation and billed over $100,000. He placed GPS trackers on vehicles belonging to Kouri and her mom. They also put one on what they thought was Carmen's car, but ended up being somebody else's, so they pulled it quickly. And this was
Just a
from
random person's car.
well, it was somebody who was living in the house that she was at, and they thought it was hers. Private investigators don't need warrants like the police do.
Yeah,
So they just have to follow a different set of rules in order to have enough probable cause to do this, enough reason to do this.
Mm-hmm.
He searched the Richins' home after it was released by law enforcement with permission from the estate. So Katie and Clint, yeah. And during the search, he found what's been referred to as the My Princess letter in Eric's nightstand. And we did not know about this. Witnesses acknowledged it in court, but the contents were never discussed in detail.
Damn it.
Yeah. We didn't even get shown it.
So we don't know what it is?
No.
Why? Why you fucking... Okay. Jackie, you're building me up. You're
And tearing me
building
down?
me up.
This is... Honey, it wasn't much better watching it. It was not much better watching it, okay?
You know she's serious because she called me honey.
Listen, you guys, I'm so glad that this trial was only 3 weeks instead of 5. I don't know if I could have kept doing this. Yeah, I don't, oh God.
Go on.
Okay. So cross-examination got really tense with him, as you can imagine. The defense tried to suggest that Eric had a sexting relationship with a friend named Bryce. Remember I mentioned Bryce from that picture in the video? And there was something with that video and picture that's been another testimony that I didn't include because I didn't know if it was important or why it mattered. But apparently at that party, Bryce had his pants off at one point, and they put the picture up to show that this was before Bryce took his pants off. But we need to remember that this party was after Eric's death, not before Eric's death. Just to be clear, I need that is very, very important because they're trying to say that Eric and Bryce were having a sexting relationship that was inappropriate.
Is Bryce the princess?
No.
Damn it.
And so Gabler testified that he read messages and believed there were two friends joking, not evidence of an affair.
Oh my gosh, I just recalled the Snapchat you sent me of this.
Okay, and I have video of this because you have to see how ridiculous he thinks this all sounds on the stand.
This other text right here and see if this refreshes your memory. Do you remember seeing a whole bunch of emails like this or texts like this between Eric and Bryce?
Honestly, no, I don't remember. Like I say, there were hundreds of thousands of messages in this case. I don't remember even 1% of them. As I look at this, I mean, it just makes me laugh. It doesn't appear to be serious.
So how many of these joke sextings did you review that Eric did?
I don't understand this to be sexting. I think you're wrong about that. I resist your characterization. These are two friends joking with each other. That's what I'm reading here.
And they did that all the time?
I don't know.
Hundreds of times?
If I had the records, and then I could answer your question, but I don't remember all of these messages, and yeah, this is a joke.
Did you review all of the texts between Bryce and Eric?
I think at one time I would have gone through every single text message that was available to me on Eric's cloned phone. So, do I recall it? Well, I mean, I recall that it was a bit mind-numbing. There was a lot there. Nothing particularly stuck out in my mind or memory about those messages.
Did they repeatedly talk about having sex acts together?
I don't recall.
Did they repeatedly talk about oral sex together?
I don't recall.
Did they talk about anal sex together?
Also don't recall.
But you read them all,
I'm sure that I did.
and it's all joking.
Knowing what I know about Bryce and Eric, yeah, that's how I interpret it.
So you do remember reading things of this nature, and you interpreted it all as joking?
No, as I sit here today, I interpret it that way. I would have interpreted it that way back at my original reading of it. That doesn't mean I recall it. It means I have an opinion about what I thought then. That's different.
And what did you think then? They were joking?
No. What I think now is that this was a joke. I do not have a recollection of this at the time that I first read it, but if I had a recollection of that time, I'm sure it would be the same as it is today.
And if there were these tens of 20s of 50s of these types of emails, all of them would be jokes?
Foundation.
Sustained.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I have, Your Honor.
Is that not the greatest thing you've ever heard?
Bro, do you guys know straight men? Like
Right?
straight friends? What do you mean?
Right?
Oh my gosh. That's okay. I'll just tell you right now, I am very close with a lot of people, okay? And many people, including my husband, believe I have relations with specifically Lauren at work because her and I are so close and we joke about sexual things all the time.
I'm sorry, if you've ever worked in a restaurant and heard the guys in a kitchen talk,
Yeah.
my husband and his best friend, Bird, we all worked together when we first met. If
I'm
you
aware.
were to ever, they would seem like they're gay.
Yeah.
They legitimately would. If you saw them together, you would think that they were a couple.
Do you remember the TikTok trend that went around like, that is finally me and you,
Yes.
me, us, and
And
your
our
friend
friend
Steve?
Yeah.
That's literally straight men relationships.
Yes.
I'm just
Yes,
gonna
it is.
be real.
So that was the end of his testimony, and that was just super fun. And I need y'all to know I was in my workout class at like 6 a.m. when I was listening to that, and I was like dying laughing. Just like dying laughing at this because I was like, this is not happening right now.
I love that he was just laughing about it.
He was.
Oh my gosh. Him and his neck brace killed me. My gosh.
All right, so day 11 of trial.
Yeah.
Tuesday. Turned into a long day of legal arguments as attorneys worked through a massive amount of evidence tied to the testimony of the case lead investigator, Detective O'Driscoll.
Mm-hmm.
And the morning began without the jury present, with the court reviewing hundreds of pages of interview transcripts, like 900 of them.
Jesus fuck.
And it was all related to Jeff O'Driscoll's testimony. And much of the debate centered around interviews with Carmen Lauber, the former housekeeper.
Mm-hmm.
And she previously testified that she helped obtain the pills for Kouri, and prosecutors wanted to introduce specific clips of
Got it.
Prosecutors wanted to introduce specific clips from her interviews during O'Driscoll's testimony to show consistency in her statements.
Okay.
And
Makes sense to me.
right, they want to, but the defense was like, okay. The defense only wanted those to be called in if they could recall Carmen to cross-examine her about it, or if Carmen was back. And so the judge was like, cool, go ahead and recall her as a witness when you guys get your chance. And they're like, no, we shouldn't have to recall her as a witness because that's shifting the burden of proof onto us when it is the state's responsibility. So they should be the ones who recall her. So like they could have
But they want the opportunity to cross-examine.
yeah, underneath these things. And so the judge was like, so call it. They were like, no, we shouldn't have to do that. Like they could have literally avoided so much of this by just recalling her during their stuff, but they refused to. So
Oh my gosh, I just thought about back in that clip we just watched how like the question was asked to the guy and he was just like looking at the screen and Kouri's like,
yeah, her faces are ridiculous at the witnesses.
to be fair, I would not be able to control my face if I was in a courtroom ever for anything.
Yeah. So they don't want to call her back, but they don't want what the state is presenting for the excerpts. And so the defense pushed back that if the state wants to just present selected excerpts, that the full interviews, so all 900 pages, should be put in so that the jury receives the full context. And prosecutors were like, that's going to take hours, like 7 hours of showing interviews. Like, it's not necessary. We're wasting the jury's time. Like, it's not necessary. And the defense was like, no, if you want some of it, we want all of it or nothing. It was either all or nothing. It was all of the transcripts or none of the transcripts. And they were like, the prosecution's cherry picking, and it's not fair. But I'm sorry. Didn't the prosecution try to accuse them of cherry picking during Carmen Luber's statements? Or they accused the prosecution of cherry picking during Carmen Luber's, and then they turned around and cherry picked what they wanted to show?
Yeah.
Okay, just so we're on the same page about the cherry picking here. The back and forth took up most of the morning.
I'm not gonna lie to you, my petty ass would have been like, fine, put every single one of them in.
And that's what the prosecution was doing. They were like, fine, go ahead.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
We can do it.
Do it.
And so this took up most of the morning. Because they debated what needed to be redacted, what should stay in, and how the interview clips will ultimately be presented to jurors.
Mm-hmm.
During this, the defense asked the judge for 2 full days, like a 2-day continuance in the middle of trial, to go through the transcripts and finalize what they wanted.
The defense?
Yeah. The judge denied that request so fast it wasn't even funny. Instead, he granted a compromise, giving the defense until the evening to complete their review while the prosecution prepares edited video clips that match whatever transcript rulings get finalized. He was like 6 p.m. They were like, can we have till 11? And he goes, no, you can have till 6.
Period.
And before court wrapped up for the day, prosecutors briefly called Chris Cocherdimos back. You remember our Celebrate King? And he was there for less than 5 minutes. He basically told us how timestamps appear on extracted phone data and how daylight savings times affects the shown in the text messages. So it's either -6 or -7.
Okay.
That's it.
Wow.
It comes up later when the defense tries to put something in that's a -5 and they're like, this doesn't make sense and we don't want it, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going into that because it was the most pointless 45 minutes of my life and it didn't get accepted in anyway, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, so that was the rest of that day. That's literally all they did on Wednesday. Or on Tuesday.
Okay.
Which brings us to Wednesday and Thursday. And I'm covering these days together because they bleed into each other so much.
It's interesting.
Yes. So on Wednesday, court resumed at 1 p.m. with the jury present. And the state briefly recalled Carmen to address questions about her probation violations after the defense challenged her credibility. And she acknowledged the weapons violation connected to a firearm found in her room, but she pushed back on other allegations.
So they did call her back.
Yeah, the state ended up calling her back
Okay. Great.
to appease the defense.
Yeah.
Whatever. But before the jury was present for that, there was a lot of legal matter dealt with between counsel and the judge. Even though the jury wasn't present, the cameras were still rolling in the courtroom. And we will get to that later, because if I tell you about it now, it's going to confuse you, but it matters later. So give me a minute. After Carmen got off the stand after lunch, the state called their last witness. And this is lead detective Jeff O'Driscoll. And this is the testimony we have all been waiting for from the state.
Yep.
His testimony went into Thursday morning, and there was definitely a reason he was saved for last. I feel like his testimony explained the prosecution's actions, or lack thereof, over the past few weeks of trial.
Oh,
Yes. Driscoll started off testifying about Doppel. Do you know what Doppel is?
I don't know what that is.
It's a database in that police can go in and pull every prescription you've ever been prescribed for controlled substances. They can see when it was filled, when you picked it up, and detectives pulled Eric's prescription history for his whole life, and it showed 0 prescriptions for fentanyl or similar drugs. Yeah, you should have seen the look on Kouri's face. It looked a little bit like that. Not gonna lie. The prosecution then had O'Driscoll walk the jury through key parts of the investigation into Eric's death, starting with the level of fentanyl in Eric's system, making them dig into Kouri and Eric's personal life. And they began tracing phone records that eventually led them to Carmen, and Kouri's phone records ultimately gave her away.
No way.
All of the text messages between her and Carmen is what gave her away, and it wasn't Eric's family or anyone else that started them down that path.
Period.
The jury then saw 2 sets of text messages between Eric and Kouri,
Mhm.
where they discussed THC gummies. One exchange where Kouri suggested taking them during a movie date, and another where Eric suggested taking them on a night without the kids to relax. He testified these were the only texts referencing THC substances between the couple,
Okay.
or any substances of that matter.
Yeah.
Then we got to the book about grief that Kouri wrote. They showed email communications between Kouri and the news stations, showing that Kouri reached out to them and set everything up. They also showed texts with her family where she discussed her plans for writing another book about Eric's family and his death. It included, it's up here, pause if you want to read it, but she was talking about how she has to clear it with her attorneys and make sure she doesn't say anything, and they're going to hate this, and blah, 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 and how much it's going to be, and she should be able to afford it with the money coming in soon. But I think the best thing that came out of it was the fact that she used a ghostwriter for the children's book.
She didn't fucking write shit.
After she told everybody that she sat at the kitchen table and wrote this book with her boys to help them overcome the loss of their father.
Yeah.
We all watched the interview. So they did show a picture of her on the talk show promoting her book,
Okay.
but they didn't show any clips of it, and they didn't show the clip of the anchors talking about what she said. I'm surprised they didn't also subpoena any of them about the discussion that was had with them.
Will you remind me of those clips?
Yeah, do you remember where she was on the talk show and then they had a clip afterwards about after she was arrested and how she was talking to them about he died from COVID and that she was still wearing a ring and she gave off all the energy and all the vibes of this, but now looking back they could tell certain things were kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I as soon as you said the talk show, I was like, oh, I remember this, but I couldn't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. One more thing. Lisa, Kouri's mom, sent Detective O'Driscoll a copy of the book anonymously with a note that read, "There are 2 sides to every story. This is the true Kouri, a devoted wife and adoring mother. Thought you should know. From Anonymous." Yeah, so he requested the info of who sent that from Amazon, and Amazon snitched.
I mean, it's a fucking detective. What do you mean? It's not a snitch. They probably were so... What a dumb hoe.
Right. Right. Then we got something else that was new.
Wait, hold on. Before you tell me this, couldn't that be trying to sway a detective? It's not a bribe by any means, but
It's an anonymous tip. I mean, she didn't threaten him or anything. She just thought she was doing something.
it's fair, but it could still be seen as
Well, he's not a witness, not intimidating a witness or intimidating a officer.
I wouldn't. I'm not saying
intimidating.
I'm not
but,
trying to say it like in a mean way. I'm just saying she could be trying to sway him. Like, look at her. And
Oh yeah, that's
like,
what she was trying to do.
I know, but I'm saying, isn't that like some kind of impeding of an investigation?
I don't know. Somebody tell us what that means.
If it means.
If it means anything. So here's another new thing. There's an orange notebook found in Kouri's nightstand that was introduced, and I'd never heard of it. It contained journal entries and a timeline of events after Eric's death, including notes about family interactions and learning that a private investigator had been hired. If you're watching this, pause and read them because we're just going to have them popped up all over the screen. I have like 15 screenshots of this, I think, because there's so much of it. There's a few key ones that we'll put up here. All the other ones are going to be on the website, or I'll post them on like a little post for it. Go look and read them. But basically, she's just writing everything down. Like when she started therapy, when the kids started therapy, what happened, like very much into detail what happened that night. Eric's dad's demeanor and how he answered the phone, like he was expecting it. It was just really weird, some of the stuff that was in it. Yeah, so that was just very interesting, and it just showed that Kouri was trying to keep all of her thoughts in the timeline and all the statements very well laid out so she could remember them. Because this was gathered after she was arrested. Yeah. So back to my statement about Kouri's phone records giving her away and leading them to Carmen and Robert. If you remember, during both of their testimonies, the defense played some pretty damning interview footage. And that the defense fought for it because, I quote, "the state is cherry picking and not showing everything, so we need to show the real context." So the prosecution pulled an Uno reverse and played the same footage that the defense presented previously, but they added before and after context. If we thought about we just need to get a conviction of Kouri, we thought that was bad. I now understand why the state let that go. Because the context of it makes him look bad.
Makes the prosecution look bad?
The defense look bad. Oh. And I'm not going to play all those clips because they're really long. I am going to try to get them up on YouTube. But I do have a clip of O'Driscoll being asked about what the defense chose to leave out and what actually happened, just so you guys can get the gist of all the footage we had to rewatch, and also Kathy Nestor's being her usual self in this.
Did those interviews total about 10 hours?
I believe so, yes.
Were they audio and video recorded?
Yes.
Have you reviewed transcripts of those interviews?
Yes, I have.
Do those transcripts total about 900 pages?
Yes, I believe so.
Did you listen to defense counsel's cross-examination of Carmen Lauber regarding your and Detective Maynard's interviews?
I did.
Did you observe how defense picked certain sentences throughout the 900 pages?
Yes.
In the full context of the interviews, do you believe that those few sentences fairly and accurately depicted the tone and tenor of your interview?
Object, Your Honor.
What's the basis of the objection?
He's trying to make impeachment sound improper, and it's totally not improper. It is.
Don't make speaking objections. Are you objecting to the form of the question?
Yes.
What is the objection to the form of the question?
Your Honor, we object to the form of the question on the grounds that it is seeking a legal conclusion, on the grounds that it is leading, and on the grounds that it is calling for speculation.
Overruled. Go ahead, Judge.
No, I don't feel like those segments that they picked out at all represented our interviews with Carmen.
Do you think that those segments without context are misleading?
Object to leading.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yes, I believe they're misleading.
One of those segments said, or quoted you saying that you needed details to ensure that Kouri Richins will get convicted of murder, and that shortly thereafter Carmen Lauber asked for blueprints. What was the context of that discussion?
So, as I said before, when we were discussing with Carmen, it was very slow moving at first. And we were trying to emphasize to her the level of detail that we needed to be able to offer her something from the prosecution's office for her cooperation. And part of that emphasis was trying to describe to her the level of detail that would be needed in a courtroom. And it was probably poor choice of words in hindsight, but that was what we were stressing, is the type of information that is acceptable to be used in a court.
Defense counsel also picked the words "get out of jail free card" that Detective Maynard uttered. What was the context of "get out of jail free card"?
So the comment that Detective Maynard made was coupling her, referencing whatever prosecution would offer her in exchange for her testimony, coupled with the fact that there was now a family that didn't have a brother, that didn't have a son, and the importance of the investigation into Eric's death as opposed to any subsequent drug investigations that Ms. Lauber was involved in.
Defense counsel also picked the words from Carmen Lauber, "Can you guys write it down and I will sign it?" What was that context?
We were trying to get Carmen to complete a written statement to go along with the scattered information that we had been receiving through our interview process so that we could establish a more chronological timeline. And she was expressing concerns about not wanting to be writing things down in front of other inmates in the cell block. So she wanted us to write it down instead.
And what did you say?
We said, no, that's not the way it works.
Scott, can I get, please, 8-58R?
So, is that not wild?
Can you understand why she kept being like, hearsay?
Here's a
Objection, objection. On what grounds, though? I don't like it.
right. It just every time she talks, every time that kind of interaction happens, which is a lot with the judge, all I think of is Michael Scott in The Office. You can't fire them. You have to have cause. I do have cause, cause I hate them.
Because I hate him.
Yes, like I swear that's the defense every time they speak about something. That's all I hear in my head.
Yeah.
So then we got jail calls from between Kouri and her mom, Lisa. And Lisa definitely runs her kid's life way more than we thought. In a recording that's played, Lisa immediately barks at Kouri, who bought the sandwiches on Valentine's Day. And Kouri just sounds like a teenager getting scolded at first.
Oh.
It's definitely really telling of their relationship. I'm going to play you two calls. One between Kouri and Lisa, and they discuss what Eric's family is saying, and there's like, you know, they start with, "I believe." Well, and her mom goes, "Well, I'm about to believe a whole bunch of stuff when I talk to this person tomorrow." And they're like laughing about the whole alleging that she left him a love note and a sandwich on his seat. Like, why would she do that? Mm-hmm. She also calls her brother, and like they're laughing and joking about the whole situation, and it's just disgusting. But my favorite thing is that one of these calls the call with Lisa starts with literally calling O'Driscoll an idiot by name. And she had to literally sit in front of O'Driscoll while this is being played.
And they're going to feel so stupid. And that's the thing, I feel like all of America, really. When people get up to actually testify and say, no, that is a lie, that did not happen. I was there. You can't compete with somebody who was actually there on your beliefs. Right. You know, so I'm just like, you know, and the stupid part is the freaking detectives, O'Driscoll, all those idiots, they know this. When they were at my house, I told them this. But they're him. Will you have through anyway? And I almost wonder if they didn't tell the prosecutor.
So they're saying it was on. They're saying just a few days later, Valentine's Day, Kouri made Eric a sandwich and placed it on the seat of his truck along with the supposed love note.
Oh my gosh, what the hell?
And then the next question is, when Eric ate the sandwich, he immediately broke out in hives, had trouble breathing. He later told his friend he thought Kouri tried to poison him. It is so fucking sad that you would go to this lie. And Austin was right. I did go back and look where they do start with, I believe. Well, I'm going to have a whole bunch of I believe today when Rick calls me.
Well, exactly. And that's what I was like, well, if you believe, then I believe this.
Yes.
Erica's sandwich and put a love note on it, and the sandwich was poison.
Oh my God, I know. It's like, no, the fuck, that did not happen. I was like, no, that didn't happen. Here's what happened. Nanny can testify. That's not, who fucking lived there. That's not what happened.
Yeah.
Like, that's not at all what happened. Where the fuck are you getting this bullshit?
Yeah, and like I even like have
No.
like my bank statement and stuff showing that I bought lunch at Mirror Lake. Like I didn't make any fucking.
Yeah, I know. I was like, no. I was like, no. These sandwiches are bought from a restaurant from a diner up the road. Receipts to prove it. This shit didn't happen. They're working in the office, and Nanny's there to testify that all of this is true, and everything they just said is complete horseshit.
Okay, so there's one thing, and this was actually played Wednesday morning without the jury present, or at one point without the jury present. I don't know when it was, but it's something that prosecution fought for in the 900 pages of transcript that got taken down to 150. Was a section about Kouri talking about the fact that Eric was not suicidal.
Oh.
And this actually comes into play later. Like it actually gets like word versions of it get published. And I believe like I don't know if the phone call or not gets published that it's in. But I am going to play this clip from the judge talking about it outside the jury's presence. Because it very much sums it up very well. I'm going to put the pictures up with it that came out later. Yeah, it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Richins relating what Eric Richins told her for the truth of whether he ever had suicidal ideations or whether she would actually be set for life if he ever died, but can consider it for the effect that that statement by Eric Richins had upon her on a going forward basis.
What, can we just get a statement as to what effect that did have on her? Because I don't understand that argument at all. And
She
maybe
thought she would be set for life if he died. It provides a motive to kill him.
Okay.
Mr. Bloodworth, any clarification?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that. Any thoughts there?
I mean, I understand. Like, I figured that was the motive. Like, money and the fact that she has another boyfriend and told her boyfriend, it would just be easier for her. So,
Yeah.
there's two fucking motives right there.
Yeah, so super crazy that the defense I'm like, well, I understand why the defense didn't want that in, but at the same time, I love this judge. He's been explaining how trial works to these defense attorneys the whole time.
He has a very lucky life.
Yeah. The last thing that the prosecution did was introduce the walk the dog letter.
God, I forgot.
We've been waiting. Oh my God. Okay, only 6 pages were allowed in, but that's more than what we needed. Just to refresh your memory, in this letter, Kouri coached her family members on what to say to Kouri's then lawyer, Sky Lazaro, about Eric and talking about getting illegal drugs in Mexico and how he secretly used all the time and the trouble it would cause, and flat out saying Eric hid them in his truck in an allergy bottle and even placed them in Kouri's bags while traveling. So O'Driscoll was only asked one question. So the prosecution had O'Driscoll read the letter.
Yeah.
And then they asked him one question. And that was, who's Sky? And he responded, oh, Kouri's first attorney, Sky Lazaro.
Mm-hmm.
And then the prosecution said they were done with him. That's it. They just had him read it and one question and then handed it off to the defense.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And that letter is damning enough on its own. They don't even have to do anything with it. It is damning enough by itself. But do you remember when we first read that letter? We're like, who the fuck is Sky?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
The defense pushed back hard during cross-examination, which I knew was going to happen. But luckily, he wasn't playing the defense's games.
Yeah.
And they did not like it at all. Shockingly, they left the walk the dog letter addressed to Lisa and didn't try to make it a part of that bigger manuscript that they've been pushing. Like, just remember they tried to say it was a part of this story she was writing, and it was part of a manuscript and it was taken out of context. Yeah, we didn't try to push that. Huh. No. They also didn't say where the letter was found in jail. They said that it was found among Kouri's personal possessions, they never flat out said in her jail cell. So the jury does not know that this letter came from jail. Since they didn't take the...
I mean, they could probably piece that together considering her attorney's name was in it.
Yes.
That, okay.
But, you know.
Yeah.
Since they didn't want to take the course of action to play it out of a manuscript, they took a different course, which I didn't see going. They just decided to attack from the angle that he did not properly investigate the allegations in the letter. So they went hard that he never obtained a warrant for Ronnie's phone to verify alleged messages from Eric, to which the prosecution had him asked him about that, and they said, well, I didn't have enough probable cause for a warrant, so I couldn't get one. That letter wasn't enough. Then they went down the path of no fentanyl being recovered in the cups, glasses, straws inside the home, including the hydrocodone bottle that went with Eric's body. Or that 0 pills allegedly connected to the case had ever been recovered or tested in the house. We did get clarification on where that bottle is. So it got taken, medical examiner. Then we got some hearsay stricken out of it because it was what happened to it. The medical examiner doesn't have it anymore. Like, I think it got thrown away or whatever. It never got tested. I think that's a big fuck up on the detective's part, is not testing that bottle. I'm not going to lie, it is. It's a big question on that jury. Yeah. Not going to lie. They really pressed O'Driscoll on the lack of phone location data for Eric's phone during the time that the drugs were picked up at, like, the Midway Mansion and the other times, and the fact that or on Valentine's Day, they didn't track his whereabouts. They also didn't do any investigating into his whereabouts in Mexico. You know, like where he went, didn't go, and whatnot. And they were just kind of like alluding that, like, they didn't investigate Eric well enough to make sure he didn't get these drugs. They're putting holes in here. You know, they're just like, oh, why didn't you investigate this? Why didn't you investigate this? Like, why didn't you go through all his Mexico history? I mean, I get it. There's good holes to poke.
Those are good holes.
They showed text messages where Kouri and Eric were discussing the Midway Mansion, and they thought they were doing something with this, but they weren't. They just showed them discussing numbers that were very different from each other. They showed that he was in fact laying gravel at the mansion that day that he died for Kouri. But like, and then there's messages, so those ones weren't really that great, but then there's a message about them celebrating it. And I was like, oh, okay, that kind of does show Eric celebrating it a little bit. They also tried, you remember those 3 gifts from the very beginning? The Kevin Spacey one, the Donald Trump one, and then the Dumb and Dumber one with the money on the face? It's from opening statements, and I brought them up in both of them. There are 3 gifts found on Kouri's phone. Kouri didn't open them until 8:36 on the 3rd, when Eric died. 3rd or 4th. Instead of talking about this with our forensic analyst, they brought this up with O'Driscoll and tried to prove that it came from Eric's phone and Kouri didn't open them until 8:30 in the morning after he died, when we had a literal forensics examiner say that they could not locate where those files came from.
The day he died or the morning after?
I mean, the morning after. Like 8:30 that morning after. Yeah, no. So like...
He died on the 4th.
Yeah, he died on the 4th.
So she would have known the 5th.
Anyway, he was found at 3 a.m. They were open at like 8:36. According to the defense, questioning O'Driscoll. But yeah, we had a whole thing about the phone where they couldn't figure out where those actually came from. And they explained it all.
Okay.
Yeah, there was a whole thing where he wasn't wanting them to admit this underneath Driscoll because, like, the judge fighting him saying that he's not the witness for this. And it just turned into a whole clusterfuck. And it's just so stupid. The prosecution ended up mic dropping on their, like, rebuttal with them. With, isn't that last one, Kevin Spacey from House of Cards? And then just, like, left. I don't know. He just pointed out where all the gifts came from, and we never got anywhere with him.
Wow.
I don't know. But that was basically O'Driscoll's testimony. The prosecution saved him for last to literally show where the defense was cherry picking and doing all of this. I don't think the state intended for the defense to rest without calling anybody.
No.
And so therefore, I think that's the other reason they didn't do as much as they did. They could have done up to this because they knew what opportunities they were going to have with the defense's witnesses. But I do now understand why Detective Driscoll is safe for last. We had to admit so much evidence before we got to him. And I really enjoyed them using him as a mic drop for everything the defense tried to turn around on them. Okay, so you remember how I told you that something was happening earlier that morning?
Yeah.
But if I went over it, it's just not going to make sense.
Yeah.
This is where it makes sense. So the defense, basically the defense wanted to bring in a witness that tried to come to detectives and tell them about Eric trying to get fentanyl in 2019.
Uh-huh.
But in order for his testimony to be admitted, they would also have to allow additional testimony from Hayden Jeffs, the handyman who has passed away. But his testimony is on footage. And then they would also have to allow Nick Von Savage, Carmen's acquaintance, testimony in, who is also on video. And they want to do all this to get this one guy in, but his testimony isn't on video.
Oh.
And his testimony is that nobody ever talked to him and didn't take his allegation seriously, but also the defense sent him there. So, when we came back around, so this is what we came back to after the state rested. So before the state rested, the judge was asking about calling additional witnesses. And this is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And because he asked, before this, he asked, looked dead at the defense, and I've never seen a judge do this. And he looked at the defense and said, "This is high stakes poker. What would you like to do?" So they wanted to wait until after O'Driscoll's testimony to come back to this.
Uh-huh.
And they decided to not open that door. And because they decided to not open the door to allow that guy's testimony in, the prosecution did not have to call additional witnesses. And so therefore the state ended up resting, which is where the judge asked Kathy Nestor and Wendy Lewis if they needed time to discuss with their clients, make their next moves, blah, blah, blah. And that is when they went, and then they said, "We rest." And then Kouri said, and then the judge was like, "And Kouri's not going to testify, so let's go ahead and do that." And then he was like, "We should probably do this in front of the jury now."
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But before we got to that, all the resting and all that stuff, the defense had to do its obligatory duties, which was asking the judge to dismiss several charges through a motion for a directed verdict, which is basically a judgment of acquittal. And they argued that the state had not presented legally sufficient evidence to prove the crimes. They said that the prosecution failed to establish that Richins actually obtained or administered fentanyl to her husband, and instead showed at most that she sought prescription oxycodone through Carmen, with testimony from alleged dealers indicating he never supplied fentanyl. They also argued the financial crime counts lacked of proof or intent, claiming the state did not show that when Kouri allegedly signed documents or obtained insurance, she intended to kill her husband or commit fraud, but she forged his name. And they said that wives sign for their husbands all the time. In short, the defense contended that even when viewing the evidence in the light most favorable to the state, prosecutors had not proven the essential elements of murder, attempted murder, or related fraud charges, and strongly enough to allow the case to go to a jury. And the judge, of course, denied this motion by then stating that the state had met its burden of proof. Its minimum burden of proof. And it was after this that Kouri waived her rights and the defense rested. And I know that you and Jen were beyond shocked when they rested.
Yeah.
I was beyond shocked that Kouri didn't testify because we had been alluding to this, like I have said. And there were statements and comments, and I was surprised that she didn't at least testify.
Yeah.
I mean, I was okay. And after a very lengthy discussion with my sister on the way home after this, because I had to process and take all this in, I think I'm more shocked that they didn't at least call a couple character references for her to at least attest to her person or maybe even her marriage and her life. But this has been such a massive hearsay trial. I don't know who they could have called, because they can't call Lisa, Ronnie, or DJ, her mom and brothers, because that opens up to the walk the dog letter. That opens up to her mom was present the morning Eric died. That opens up the jail calls. That opens up everything. But she doesn't have a friend other than Chelsea Barney and Allison. She doesn't. There's not another friend we could have called. There's nobody we could have called.
I feel like that just kind of goes to show her character. Like, I'm not saying people who don't have friends are shitty people, but in the real estate game, it shows you're a shitty person. I'm just gonna be real.
Yeah. Also, fun time. How come we never brought up that how come the client who she got these painkillers for was never called? Unless he was on the defense list. I mean, where's this client we heard so much about? We never even heard a name for him.
Mm-hmm.
Prosecution never even asked who the client was if they ever found that out.
Can you remind me how old their oldest child is?
Probably a teenager now, like 13 or 14. Maybe 15. No, they were too young. They can't.
I don't think so.
No, they were too young at the time, and they can't testify to her character and all the adult stuff. It wouldn't be.
Oh, I wasn't meaning that.
Oh, they wouldn't have been on the stand. Katie would have never allowed it.
That's valid. I just wonder if the cops spoke to them at all.
Oh, probably.
Because if the kids were there, kids retain a lot of shit. They see a lot of shit.
I mean, they talked to Natalie Cochran's kids a whole bunch, but we haven't really heard much talk with them. And I have a feeling that the family kept the kids very much
protected.
Or they did talk to them multiple times and there wasn't anything there that was,
It's fair.
Interesting. One thing that kind of became clear this week was that the defense's strategy changed from when in doubt, create reasonable doubt to they were trying to cause so much disruption that it messed up the flow of testimony, leaving jurors with large gaps and confusion. And I think that became part of their strategy at a certain point. And I think once it became clear that they weren't going to call any witnesses, this became their strategy because this week was so disrupted. They asked for a 2-day continuance. They're doing this. I feel like they were just trying to confuse the jury and get everything like that, especially with the Red Devils and all of that. And that was their new defense. And that's why they rested, because they were like, they haven't proved their case yet. We've disrupted so much. Let's not give them more power, more ammo by our witnesses.
I hate to say it's kind of a good strategy, though.
Once I sat back and looked at it, I went, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to really stick to the letter of the law, and they don't have to any burden of proof. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to do anything.
Sure.
So, but also Kouri looked terrified the entire day. I have pictures that I have up here, and I have this video of when she's just standing, and you can see everything else is still, but her chest is just, oh, it's crazy. I want to talk about how we feel as jurors.
Bro.
Let me go first while you gather your thoughts, because I've thought about this. So, as a juror, I don't know where I would sit. I know this case inside and out. I know way more than the jurors ever would. And also, it kind of got a little confusing about what evidence the jurors do have and what evidence they don't have. Me and my sister were getting tripped up talking about that yesterday because of how much the jury was in and out of the room.
Annoying.
One of the things for me, though, is there's no proof of fentanyl in the house. And we have all been told how dangerous even a little bit of powder is. But if there's an overdose on fentanyl, there'd be fentanyl still around him. But if Kouri didn't, then it would all be cleaned up. So yes, while they haven't found any evidence, I also don't think they tested enough evidence either.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of sit I see on one side that if there is no proof of it in the house, it very much looks like Kouri did it because she cleaned it all up.
Especially because there's the testimony that he had been dead for a while.
But also not testing that hydrocodone bottle is not good. That's a big thing. Them not taking any cups or searching the kitchen or not asking Kouri if they can search certain areas before they go search for it. That's not helpful either. I'm not going to lie. Some of the investigation on this physically for physical objects and things like that is not good for the state. It's not.
I'm gonna rebuttal that really quick.
Okay.
Just because detectives, obviously, yes, they're going in hearing, oh, Eric said my wife killed me or would have killed me, something like that. But she was a little convincing with her crocodile tears and the not tears that she had. Don't look at me like that. Okay. That they are going into this thinking, oh, this guy overdosed. Oh, this guy.
I forgot about the 911 call that got played.
Oh.
Oh my God. They played the full 911 call and she kept saying, I don't know if I can do that, I can't, I don't want to, I don't know. And like she was like whisper crying, so like she wouldn't wake the boys up. And at one point, you hear the boys come in, and she's like, "No, no, no, go away, go away, go away, shut the door." And like when the ladies and like she can't pull him off the bed sideways, they didn't instruct her to pull this way. And like she was like, "I don't know if I can do CPR. I don't know." And then like she starts doing CPR, but you can tell that she's like not actually doing CPR because it doesn't sound like it.
Yeah.
And then like there's so much confusion.
You're doing
with people
real
coming in.
CPR. It wears you the fuck out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really real.
It was a little wild. I ain't gonna lie. Her voice went, go watch some 911 call. I'm not playing it in this. This episode's long enough. But that part was also a little damning for her, was her own 911 call, because but we played a lot of clips.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, her 911 call sounded a lot of fake crying like the body cam footage did.
Oh, okay.
From the beginning. And she was like whispering, like panic whispering. Like, I'm sorry. In that moment, I'm gonna lock my door and not worry about my kids.
That's valid. That's fair. That's fair. So I guess what I'm saying is like going in thinking, one, you don't know how he died until however long it takes to get toxicology back in the autopsy, everything like that. You wouldn't think, I need to collect all these cups.
True. And they were looking for an overdose, and there's a bottle next to him. And the other thing is she kept saying that he doesn't do any drugs. He doesn't do any drugs. No prescription, blah, blah, blah. She kept saying that on the body cam. So now this is her story, which is weird.
Yeah. So she's changing up her stories. So it's like, again, as on a detective side of it, you see a bottle next to him. Clearly, he's been dead for a little bit. There's blood coming out of him now.
Yeah, there's the
you're
obvious...
seeing it as, like, there's no actual wounds. So you're going to see it as an overdose. My first thought would not be, I need to go through their trash.
True. I mean, they had it as a suspicious
I can't
overdose.
take these cups.
They had it as a suspicious overdose, but you're right. They weren't thinking of getting cups in that moment. But I'm also wondering if the jury's stepping back to see that. I mean, they did put the proof with how search warrants work and how they only have a limited time. I really feel like there's holes on both sides.
Yes.
I really
feel
like
they didn't call the sister.
Yeah.
Or
Amy. Yeah, I was like,
or even talk about the fight with the others.
Apparently, that was apparently in one of the 18 million hearings that I quit watching before this trial because it got to be so much, that wasn't allowed in.
But it's the big thing.
But the judge ruled to not allow it in because, I don't know.
Okay.
I think it's because it's part of the civil lawsuit. There's certain things that aren't allowed in because they're part of the civil lawsuit, I think, but, and we've seen that in other trials. As a juror, I don't know where I would sit. I am very scared of a hung jury. I'm scared of a hung jury.
That's fair. I mean, if I didn't know this case, like, I don't know if I could actually say what side I would be on if I didn't know.
As a juror, there's so much confusion that, like,
yeah, and, like, hearing about it for the first time, going, like, through this, yikes. I see what you're saying.
So, and the no character witnesses for Kouri looks bad, but also some of the investigative work over here and, like, what they didn't look in, what leads they didn't follow look bad. Like, my sister made a good point. If I was on this jury and I requested the court transcripts after, which you can, and then you read through all the stuff you weren't in the courtroom for, and you end up finding her not guilty or on a hung jury, you're going to be pissed.
Hell yeah.
Like, pissed.
Like,
so,
I don't know. I think juries need to be part of that shit, personally.
I do. So, Monday, we're going to have closing arguments. And then after closing arguments, I'm going to assume closing arguments and jury instruction, which I have fucking PTSD from Karen Reed about jury instructions. We literally took the end of Thursday and Friday for counsel to discuss jury instructions to send to the judge so they can all agree on it. I'm scared. So we will get closing arguments and jury instructions, which I believe should take us to lunch or right after lunch. Personally, my predictions for deliberation is Monday night, Tuesday, earliest we're going to get a Wednesday verdict. Earliest is a Wednesday verdict. I honestly don't think we're going to get a verdict till the end of the week. I think this one's going to take a minute because you want to know something? The jurors only have their notes. There is no transcript for them. There is nothing else for them. The judge said this at the very beginning, told them to take very good notes. He even said that I'm sure to the defense, I'm sure you can go back and watch Carmen's testimony at 1.5 speed on court TV. Whenever they wanted to review it for the transcript stuff. So, there's another part.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a short deliberation by any means.
No, we're going to be on verdict watch for a minute.
Yeah. Like, I thought we were going to be on verdict watch for Letitia for a minute. And
no,
thankfully not.
But that was a very much more thorough, investigated, and trialed out. Like, that was not like this.
Yeah.
That one is very solid.
And there was very different wounds in them.
Yes.
Things like that. So, I get it.
How long do you think deliberations are going to take?
When was she arrested? Do you remember the date she was arrested?
May of 2023.
Just because
A year after.
it's always poetic justice, personally, around the time frame, and it's been.
I don't know.
6 years,
and I don't know if their sentencing is going to be right after. Like, immediately after, if the judge is going to take a minute. I don't know how he's going to do this. But we did have trial on the anniversary of Eric stuff.
Yep. There's always that type of poetic justice in these cases. So for deliberation wise, I was just trying to see if it was going to line up with a different date, and it doesn't. So I'm thinking that I'm going to agree with you. Earliest might be Wednesday. If not, I think we may not get an actual verdict until next week.
The following week. Yeah. That's all I got for you guys on that. I'm really glad that I don't have to sit through 2 more weeks of defense witnesses, because I would lose my mind. I was already losing my mind.
She messaged, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday that you messaged, or was it Jen? That was like,
it was
really
me.
quiet today.
Oh, it was me. It was so quiet because I had nothing to listen to. That also happens after I'm done listening to trial. My brain's too quiet without something all the time.
Yeah.
So
I just really think that, like, I know you're said that it was probably going to be 100 or something along those lines. I just genuinely think that the prosecution, yes, we don't have all of the evidence and there were holes, but I feel like they explained at least 2 motives strong enough.
Yes.
For her to do this.
I agree with you.
The boyfriend, whose testimony was.
Yeah.
Wow. And the money.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know. We're just going to have to watch. I would not want to be on this jury.
I want to be a perma-juror.
Oh, I do too. I'll also explain to Nicole what jury duty was, and she goes, "That's so cool. I want to do it."
I don't know why people hate jury duty.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
Please. Please.
I wish we could get on Kimberly Singler's jury, but we can't.
No,
we would
no
be
way.
a mistrial.
I don't think you and I are probably ever going to be able to be on a jury again.
Never. It sucks. All right, so make sure you're following us everywhere at Justice for Podcast. Go on our website, get tickets for our live show. Mark your calendar for our live show, April 16th, Voodoo Brewing. Follow us Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Apple, Amazon Music, everywhere. We are everywhere. Anyway, so that's all I've got for you today.
It's going to be interesting, but make sure you are liked, follow, subscribed everywhere, because the second verdict watch starts. We're on verdict watch as well.
Yep, and I have been updating, posting on there. The conversations have been great. I'll be putting stuff out. It's going to be awesome.
Love all the comments, everyone's theories, everyone's talking about it. We love this. This is why we do this.
Yep.
It's been great.
All right, well, we know that we came at you out of our normal schedule, so we will see you on Tuesday.
For part 2.
Yes, for part 2. We're super excited about it.
Part 2 of Sherry Recipes, and make sure you come and watch, because this is where we deep dive into
what
the detective that I left you guys on.
Yes.
So make sure you do that. We will catch you guys on Tuesday for part 2.
Yep.
Thank you again for being here with us for our over 100 episodes. We hope you had a very safe. Oh wait, no, it's coming up. Have a very safe St. Patty's Day.
Yes.
And we will catch you guys on St. Patty's Day.
Yep. See you Tuesday.
Okay. Love you. Bye.